and where we all recognize the truth. Black lives do matter. Women have been given the responsibility to perpetuate the human species. Our bodies were created to do that. And it does not give any other person the right to tell a woman what to do with that body. It is her body, it is her right, it is her decision. I'm going to put in place and require that states that have a history of passing legislation that is designed to prevent or limit a woman's access to reproductive health care, that those laws have to come before my Department of Justice for a review and approval, and until we determine that they are constitutional, they will not take effect. Access to affordable health care should not be a privilege, it should be a right. We need reasonable gun safety laws in this country, starting with universal background checks and a renewal of the assault weapon ban. We have confused the idea that to achieve safety, you put more cops on the street. Instead of understanding to achieve safe and healthy communities, you put more resources into the public education system of those communities, into affordable housing, into home ownership, into access to capital for small businesses, access to health care regardless of how much money people have. That's how you achieve safe and healthy communities. There was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me. So President Trump, you've spent the last 2.5 years full-time trying to sow hate and division among us. And that is why we've got nothing done. And we know that the vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us, regardless of our race, where we live, or the party with which we're registered to vote. And I plan on focusing on our common issues, our common hopes and desires, and in that way unifying our country, winning this election, and turning the page for America. And now, President Trump, you can go back to watching Fox News. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. This is a nation founded by immigrants. Unless, you know, your history is of your ancestors being kidnapped and brought over on a slave ship, unless you are Native American, your people are immigrants. I do support debt-free college. I also believe that what we need to do is we need to allow students to refinance your student loan debt. Climate change, it's real. It's real. And it is posing an existential threat to us as human beings. And we must not only take it seriously, we must have a sense of urgency about this. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a question of debating the science. It's a question of taking on powerful interests, taking on the polluters, understanding that they have a profit motive to pollute. And so let's take them to court. And let's require that if they don't change their behaviors, they will pay those fines and there will be accountability and consequence. People of every age and color and creed who are finally declaring in one voice that yes, Black lives matter. All across this country, a whole new generation of children is growing up hearing the cries for justice and the chants of hope. So to everyone keeping up the fight, you are doing something. You are doing something great. You are the heroes of our time. Let's believe in a more perfect union without mass incarceration of African American men. And where we all recognize the truth, Black lives do matter. We have a problem in this country of mass incarceration. We have a problem in this country of not having adequate response and consequence when young people who are unarmed are shot. We have a real problem in this country about disproportionate application of the law based on who is charged with a crime, what kind of bail is set for them, what kind of sentencing they receive, based on race. And there is a lot of work to do to reform the bail system in the United States and ultimately get rid of the cash bail system. Understanding that is disproportionately applied in a way that causes people who do not have $20,000 in their back pocket to have to sit in jail for what could be weeks, months, and years waiting trial, versus the people who have money get out while they're waiting trial. It's an economic justice issue. as well as a criminal justice issue. It is a flawed system, deeply flawed, and we have got to reform it, and everyone has to be on board, and we can't accept false choices.